Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Nar from the Nar Report. Back today with another episode. It is a pleasure to be here. And in today's episode, I will talk about a couple college football games from this past weekend, from week 7 of the college football season. I'll talk about all of the NFL games from the past weekend on Sunday. Week 6 of the NFL season is a wrap. And I'll give y'all my week 7 NFL predictions. And we have some breaking news from the NFL earlier today, a couple of them, so I'll get into that as well. But first of all, if you haven't, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube. All right, and make sure you follow me on all of my social media platforms on Instagram and TikTok at D_NAR_report. Let's get into it. Starting off with the college football games, I want to start off with South Carolina, Alabama. Alabama wins 27-25 in Alabama. What a game this was. What a thriller. Okay. South Carolina almost came back and won this game. Let's talk about it. I just want to go to that fourth quarter. South Carolina down 8, scores a touchdown, fails the 2-point conversion, thinking, oh yeah, the game's over. But hold on. South Carolina said, hold on, wait a minute. Y'all thought I was finished? Recovers the onside kick, gets the ball with a chance to drive the ball down the field to kick the field goal to win it. But what happens? They failed. They didn't get the job done. Let's talk about Alabama real quick. Jalen Milroe had a great game, 16 for 23 for completion, threw for 209 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. He had a good game. South Carolina, they played a great game as well, too. I like what the offense and defense did. Matter of fact, this was a good game overall. Both teams played exceptionally well. Alabama barely won this game. I don't know how, but South Carolina should have won this game. And that's it for South Carolina and Alabama. Next game I'd like to get into is LSU and Ole Miss. LSU wins 26-29 in overtime. Man, LSU got the job done. What a good game for both teams. Both offenses were great. Defense was great. Throughout the whole game, it was a battle. Both teams put up a dog fight. What a game from LSU as they found a way to come back and win in overtime. And then another game we'll talk about is Ohio State and Oregon. What a game. Oregon wins 32-31 in Oregon. Let's talk about it. First of all, Ohio State, y'all were this close to winning the game. Yes, they were this close to winning the game. But 6 seconds left. The quarterback runs the ball and just did not have enough time. I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah, you got the one timeout, but why would you scramble the ball for like 10 yards with 6 seconds left? Why not try to throw past the end zone or just throw the ball away and then kick the field goal to win it? Ohio State should have won this game, by the way, but shout out to Oregon for getting the win. I like the way both teams play, offense and defense, both sides of the ball. They put up a fight. What a game from Oregon, and also what a game for Ohio State. I'm not going to count Ohio State out because, man, they put up a dog fight. And one thing I like to explain about Ohio State, they are a good team, but they're just not ready for the playoffs, okay? They're just not a playoff team. In the regular season, they play it up to their expectations, but they just don't get the job done in the playoffs. And that's it. Oregon wins 32-31. Now moving on to the NFL. First of all, we got some breaking news coming from the NFL earlier today. Davante Adams has been traded to the New York Jets. Finally, the deal is done. I've been saying this for weeks. Man, when are the Jets going to call the Raiders for Davante Adams? And they did last night. Man, let's talk about it. Davante Adams makes the New York Jets contenders. And I mean Super Bowl contenders. Their offense on paper is elite. You got Aaron Rodgers, you got Davante, you got Garrett Wilson, and you got Mike Williams. You got Brees Hall and Braylon Allen. That is a good offense. And the Jets defense is good too. So I love the way the Jets are going. Even though they lost last night to the Bills, which I'll get into that in a moment. But this is a win-win for the New York Jets because you need another guy like Davante Adams to fix your offense. And other news broke out, another wide receiver has been traded. Amari Cooper has been traded from the Cleveland Browns to the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen has another weapon. Man, Buffalo is a good team right now. They are one of the biggest threats to the Kansas City Chiefs, but the Baltimore Ravens are the best team in that conference. And I do think the Buffalo Bills will win the AFC East again this year. Now let's go to the games. Starting off with the Thursday night game, we got the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. 49ers win 36-24 in Seattle in an NFC West rivalry showdown. Let's talk about it. The Seattle Seahawks suck right now, okay? I don't care what y'all say. They started off 3-0, and then they fall off a cliff. They fell off a cliff. They are now 3-3 of the season. Lost to the Lions, the Giants, and the 49ers. Yes, 3-3. Let's talk about it. Geno Smith, he did not have a good game. 30 for 52 for completion, threw for 312 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. And I understand that Seattle almost came back and won this game, but they should have never been down 23-10 in the first 23-3 in the first place. They scored 10 off of that kickoff return for a touchdown. Man, where was the Seattle Seahawks? Where was the offense? Where was the defense? Because the 49ers ran all over you. Let's talk about the 49ers. Brock Purdy, he had an amazing game. 18 for 28 for completion, threw for 255 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. The 49ers are back. They are now in first place in their division. And once they get their guys healthy and they play the way like they continue to play, as long as they play 49ers football and they get McCaffrey back, the 49ers are the team to be in the NFC. And that's it. 49ers win 36-24 and improve to 3-3 of the season. Next game, we go to the Sunday games. We have a London game, the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Chicago Bears. Bears win 35-16. In London, Caleb Williams is him right now. Okay, Caleb Williams had a great game. The offense was phenomenal. The defense was great. And I'm going to say this about the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears will make the playoffs this year. Yes, the Chicago Bears will make the playoffs this year under Caleb Williams as a rookie. I don't think they'll win a game, but they'll definitely make it to the playoffs. Let's talk about it. Caleb Williams, 23 for 29 from completion, threw for 226 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception. And as long as the Bears O-line continues to block for Caleb Williams, Caleb doesn't turn the ball over, and the defense is phenomenal too. As long as that happens, the Chicago Bears will make the playoffs. Okay, because Caleb Williams has weapons. Now let's talk about the Jaguars. Doug Peterson, you're on a hot seat right now, okay? I don't understand why he's not fired right now, okay? If he's not fired by tomorrow, then we got a problem, okay? Next game, they're in London again against the New England Patriots. And if they lose this game, he has to go, like, ASAP. Right after the game, Jaguars are going to be like, Doug Peterson, you're fired. Like, that's how quick he needs to be fired. Trevor Lawrence, he did not have a good game. 23 for 25 for completion, threw for 234 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. The Jacksonville Jaguars did not show up at all. I mean, them boys suck. They were in the playoffs 2 seasons ago. Last season, you were in first place of the division and then lose it. And now this season, y'all suck. I thought the Jaguars were good. But anyways, that's a different conversation for another time. Bears win 35-16. Moving on to the 1 o'clock games, we had a good one in Baltimore. The Ravens win 30-23 against the Commanders. Ravens best team in the AFC right now. Lamar Jackson is him. King Henry is him. That offense is unstoppable. Who can stop those two guys? Who can stop Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry? Nobody. That's why they're the best team in the AFC. And the defense is phenomenal, too, for the Baltimore Ravens. Their D-line is scary. Their secondary is scary. And I like their cornerbacks as well. Let's go to the stats for Lamar Jackson. 20 for 26 for completion, threw for 323 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. King Henry, let's look at his stats. For rushing, 24 attempts, ran for 132 yards, 2 touchdowns. Man, ever since King Henry arrived to Baltimore, he's been averaging a touchdown every game. I don't think there's been one game Derrick Henry has not scored a touchdown. Like, he's unstoppable. And the Ravens offense played great. The defense did their thing as well, too. I believe that the Baltimore Ravens will get over the hump this year and make it to the Super Bowl. Now let's talk about the Commanders. J.D. Daniels, he had a good game. 24 for 35 for completion, threw for 269 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. Don't get me wrong. The Commanders are a good team, but they just went up against competition. You know what I'm saying? Those last 5 games wasn't really competition. They only lost to the Bucks and the Ravens. And the teams they beat were like the Giants, the Browns, the Cardinals. You know, those teams are not even good. All right. So the Commanders have played competition. I don't think they're a bad team. I believe they'll still make the playoffs even though they don't win the division. And that's it. Ravens went 30-23, improved to 4-2 of the season. It's crazy how Baltimore Ravens started off 0-2, thinking that their season was done. But nah, the Ravens are back. Moving on to the next game, the Cleveland Browns and the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles win 20-16 in Philly. A.J. Brown is back. Welcome back, A.J. Brown. The Eagles, great game. What a bounce back win. Coming off the bye week. Jalen Hurts, he had a good game. 16 for 25 for completion. Threw for 264 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. A.J. Brown, he had a good game. 9 targets, 6 receptions, 116 yards, and 1 touchdown. Davante Smith, he had a touchdown as well, too. Though Jalen Hurts' top 2 receivers are back, okay? And they scored touchdowns. Davante Smith, 4 targets, 3 receptions for 64 yards and 1 touchdown. The Eagles are back, okay? As long as they keep winning games, Jalen Hurts does his thing, the offense do their thing, and the defense do their thing as well. I feel like the Philadelphia Eagles could make a run in the NFC, like in the playoffs. Now let's go to the Browns. Deshaun Watson, he did not have a good game. 16 for 23 for completion, threw for 160 yards and 0 touchdowns. Cleveland Browns, it is time to bench Deshaun Watson. I've been saying this for the past week or two. Why is he not benched? It's time to go ahead and put in Jameis Winston because I feel like Winston will do better than Watson right now. Okay, Deshaun Watson is washed. Ever since he left the Houston Texans, he hasn't been the same. He hasn't been the same. And it's okay. After this season, the Browns need to move on from Deshaun Watson. Okay, and he can take that contract with him. But by this Sunday, Jameis Winston needs to be the starter for the Cleveland Browns. And that's it. Eagles win 20-16 in Philly. Next up, we got the Green Bay Packers and the Arizona Cardinals. Packers win 34-13 in Green Bay. Jordan Love is a top 10 quarterback right now. Okay, ever since he came back from injury, he has been playing phenomenal. And everybody thought the Packers season was over. But nah, Malik Willis came in for those 2 games he was out and stepped up big time for the Green Bay Packers. And the Packers are back to, contenders, winning the division, going on a deep playoff run, which I believe they can still do that. But let's look at the stats for Jordan Love. 22 for 32 for completion, threw for 258 yards, 4 touchdowns and 1 interception. The Packers' offense is very good, and they got a very good defense as well, too. And I'm gonna lie, they should be the favorites to win the NFC North. I'm not saying the Lions, the Vikings, or the Bears are horrible, but the NFC North is the best division in football. The NFC North is the best division in the National Football League. Packers, Bears, Vikings, Lions, anybody can win this division. Okay? But I think Detroit will win this division and get home field advantage in the playoffs. Now let's go to the Cardinals. Kyler Murray, 22 for 32 for completion, threw for 214 yards, 1 touchdown, and 0 interceptions. The Cardinals got their butts kicked, okay? They were trashed throughout the whole game. The Green Bay Packers ran them boys off the field. And as long as Jordan Love can stay healthy, the Packers are contenders. And that's it. Packers win 34-13. Next up, we go to the NFC South, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New Orleans Saints. Buccaneers blow out the Saints 51-27. Jeez. At first, it was 17-0. Saints fought their way back into the game. Saints were up 27-24. And then after that Chris Godwin touchdown, it was the wrap. Like, the Bucs turned up. And Saints, how did y'all start the season off 2-0, averaging 40 points a game, and losing 4 straight? Like, how? To be real with you, I think the Saints should be 3-3. Okay, they should be 3-3 right now. But Spencer Rattler, he had a decent game. 22 for 40 for completion, threw for 243 yards, 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. I'm gonna go ahead and say this right now: the Saints season is over. All right, at the Denver, they just need to start thinking about tanking. All right. Now let's go to the Bucs. Baker Mayfield in the first half. At first he was great, and then he started to struggle. But in the second half, let Baker cook. That's how he was in the second half. Baker Mayfield, 24 for 36 for completion, threw for 325 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Minus those 3 interceptions, I feel like Baker Mayfield played a very great game. And that's it. Bucs went 51-27 in New Orleans in the NFC South showdown. Moving on to the next game, we got the Houston Texans blowing out the New England Patriots 41-21 in New England. CJ Stroud, he had a good game, 20 for 31 for completion, threw for 192 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. The Texans' offense was great. The defense was great. CJ Stroud, he played them awesome. But the Houston Texans are a playoff team, and they are legit contenders in the AFC. They are a top 5 team in the league right now because CJ Stroud is that guy. All right, he's that guy. And the Houston Texans, and this is my hot take, if the Houston Texans could avoid the Kansas City Chiefs in the divisional round, they will make the AFC Championship. Mark my words. And for the Patriots, Drake May, not a bad start to his first NFL career start, okay? And he's a rookie as well, too. So, as y'all know, rookies, when they come into the league, like quarterbacks, they don't really just come into the league and become Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and stuff like that. You know, they struggle a little bit, but then once they find a groove, they get going. I'm looking at the stats for Drake May. Drake May, he had a solid game, 20 for 33 for completion, threw for 243 yards, 3 TDs, and 2 interceptions. Drake May is their franchise quarterback for the New England Patriots, and it's about time the Patriots start this man. You did your thing. I'll give credit to the Patriots on that. But that's it. Texans win 41-21. Congratulations to the Houston Texans for getting that win. Moving on to the 4 o'clock games, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Las Vegas Raiders. Steelers win 32-13 in Vegas. let me go ahead and say this right now. The Pittsburgh Steelers have the best fan base in the NFL. Okay? It doesn't matter where the Steelers are playing. They can play in Europe and the fans will still be there. Like the Steelers, everywhere they go is a home game for them. Okay? Steelers fans took over Vegas. And shout out to the fans. Man, they're so great. Looking at the stats for Justin Fields, 14 for 24 for completion, threw for 145 yards, 0 TDs, and no interceptions. That's for passing. For rushing, he had 11 attempts for 59 yards and 2 touchdowns. Najee Harris, he had a Superman touchdown. Man, that was amazing. He looked like beast mode out there. And the defense is the best defense in the NFL. The Pittsburgh Steelers have the best defense in the NFL. Now let's go to the Raiders. Aiden O'Connell, he had a rough start to his first start. 27 for 40 for completion, threw for 227 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. And it's about time the Raiders did the right thing by benching Gardner Minshew, starting Aiden O'Connell. Now Davante Adams is not a Las Vegas Raider no more. The Raiders are in a tank mode, getting a good draft pick for next year and see where things go out through the rest of the season. And that's it. Steelers win 32-13. Moving on to the next game, we got the Chargers beating the Broncos 23-16 in Denver. Justin Herbert, he had a good game, 21 for 34 for completion, threw for 237 yards, 1 touchdown, and 0 interceptions. And the Chargers just came off a bye week. And they went into Denver and took care of business. At first, Denver was about to come back for a second, but the Chargers were able to hold it off. And shout out to Coach Harbaugh over there and what he's doing with the Chargers. I believe that the Los Angeles Chargers could sneak in the playoffs. Yes, they got that talent over there. Justin Herbert, he's a good quarterback. And minus all those weapons he had last year that are gone, he has new weapons, and they are stepping up big time for the Los Angeles Chargers. And I'm proud of Coach Harbaugh of what he is doing right now for that organization. And good luck for the rest of the season. Now let's go to the Broncos for a second, looking at Bo Nix stats. 19 for 33 for completion, threw for 216 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Bo Nix, he had a decent game, but the Chargers was too much for him. They were too much for him. And both teams, I believe, are 3-3. And both of these teams can make the playoffs. Yes, I believe both of these teams can make the playoffs. Well, the Chargers are 3-2, and the Broncos are 3-3. And both of these teams have good quarterbacks, and both of them are the face of the franchise. So both of these teams will be fighting for playoff spots when it comes down to November, December. So be on the lookout for those two teams, because those are some solid teams, and I like what they're doing right now. And that's it. Chargers win 23-16. Then we go to Dallas. First of all, we had a national embarrassment in Big D. Dallas. What happened? Lions win 47-9. The Dallas Cowboys did not score a touchdown. And Dak Prescott is the highest paid player in the league. And this is what he's doing right now. The Cowboys haven't even won a home game. It's crazy. They can win on the road, but when they're at home, they forget how to play football. And Sunday was Jerry Jones' birthday, and the Cowboys go out like this. There needs to be a change in Dallas going on right now. And these next 5 games coming after this bye week are tough. They got the Niners, the Falcons, the Eagles, the Texans, and the Commanders. I'm going to be real with you. If they lose to the Niners, the Falcons, and the Eagles, matter of fact, if they lose all those 5 games, pack it up. Okay? I think the Cowboys right now, first of all, if y'all lose to Atlanta, just pack it up, okay? Well, it might not be over just yet, because never count the Dallas Cowboys out. I believe they'll win one of those 5 games. They'll be 2-3 in those next 5 games. I say they'll beat Philly and Houston, lose to Washington, Atlanta, and San Francisco. But as of right now, the Dallas Cowboys season is over. Let's talk about the Lions. Phenomenal game. And before I talk about what the Lions did great, prayers up to Aiden Hutchinson because, man, that was a scary injury. And he is placed on IR, so that is great. So he'll be out for the next 4 games, and he's not out for the season. So the Detroit Lions are still alive. They are still contenders. Even though he's out, the Lions defense is still going to be very great, okay? I love the defense. They got a good defensive line. The secondary is great. I love Coach Campbell. He is a very good head coach. And the Detroit Lions right now are the best team in the NFC. Okay? One of the best teams in the NFC. You got the Vikings and Lions. Best 2 teams in the NFC right now. Okay? Looking at the stats for Jared Goff. Jared Goff, he had a phenomenal game. 18 for 25 for completion. Threw for 315 yards. 3 TDs and no interceptions. David Montgomery, he had a touchdown. 2 touchdowns for David Montgomery. 12 attempts for 80 yards. Jameson Williams, he had a touchdown. Sam Laporta also had a touchdown as well, too. And Amon-Ra St. Brown. Shout out to those guys for scoring touchdowns. Man, the Lions walked into Dallas and stood on business. Remember when these 2 teams played each other last year? Everybody's saying the Lions got robbed because of that ineligible man downfield, or he didn't check into the game as eligible. But let's talk about the Cowboys. Dak Prescott, I'm about to get on you right now. 17 for 33 for completion attempts? I thought Dak Prescott was a good quarterback. The Dallas Cowboys are getting too much hype. Every time the Cowboys win a game, when you watch ESPN, First Take, Get Up, people talking about, are the Cowboys contenders? Are the Cowboys playoff contenders? Listen, the Dallas Cowboys are a playoff team, but they're not Super Bowl contenders. They are not ready for the playoffs. And it's okay. Dak Prescott, Jerry Jones paid you all that money just for you to go out like this? And you're not even playing good this season. And I feel like the Cowboys need to bench you for a Cooper Rush because it's not looking too good right now. Back to the stats. Dak Prescott threw for Dak Prescott 17 for 33 for completions, threw for 178 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0, none, and 2 interceptions. Well, man, I don't know what to say. Let's talk about these 3 losses at home for the Cowboys. The Saints, they got ran out of the stadium, 44-19. And then the Ravens come into town. At first, they almost came back. They came back and won a game, but I don't understand how y'all lost by 3. The Ravens should have put up 50 on you. Okay? And then you come back to Dallas, okay, after getting a good road win against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And you go out like this? Really? 3 field goals? That's where them 9 points came from. And I'm going to say it right now, Dallas Cowboys, y'all not making the playoffs this year, okay? I think the Dallas Cowboys should consider tanking and getting a good draft pick and focus on the future. Dak Prescott, you got something to prove. But, man, these next 5 games, good luck. And that's it. Lions win 47-9. Shout out to the Lions. And then we have my Atlanta Falcons defeating the Carolina Panthers 38-20. Rise up. The offense was phenomenal. The run game was elite. And this is what happens when we feed Bijan Robinson the ball. He's unstoppable. And all of our weapons did their thing. See, this is what happens when we have a good quarterback and we use all of our weapons. This is what happens. Our offense is great. And the defense did their thing as well, too. AJ Terrell, shout out to that interception you had. That was your first interception since 2021. Let's go over the stats for Kirk Cousins. 19 for 30 for completion, threw for 225 yards, one touchdown, and no interceptions. Ever since Kirk Cousins learned how to swag serve in week 5, he been Kirk Gold chains. And Kirk Cousins lead us to the promised land, my God. Kirk Cousins, he had a good game. Looking at the rushing stats, Bijan Robinson, monster game. I'm telling you, Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier were dogs out there. I'm looking at the stats for Bijan Robinson right now. 15 attempts, ran for 95 yards and 2 touchdowns. Tyler Algier, 18 attempts, ran for 105 yards and 1 touchdown. And let's see how much did Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson combine together. 195 plus 95. They combined for 290 yards on the ground. That was phenomenal. Shout out to those two guys. And the offensive line has gotten way better. They did their thing. Now let's go to the receivers. Drake London, he had a good game. 10 targets, 6 receptions for 74 yards and 1 touchdown. Kyle Pitts, he had a good game. 5 targets, 3 receptions for 70 yards. Darnell Mooney, ever since he arrived in Atlanta, he's been balling. Okay. I feel like Darnell Mooney is wide receiver number 2 alongside Drake London. He had 5 targets, 3 receptions for 38 yards. Ray McCloud, 4 targets, 3 receptions for 30 yards, and then that's it. Now for the Panthers, Andy Dalton, 26 for 38 for completion, threw for 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. At first, it was looking like a trap game for us. But in the second half, we turned up. When AJ Terrell got the interception, that really sealed the deal for us. Excuse me. And Tyler Algier monster run. AJ Terrell's interception and Tyler Algier monster run sealed the deal for the Atlanta Falcons. And that's it. Falcons win 38-20, and we are now 4-2 of the season. Rise up. Then we go to Sunday night. We got the Cincinnati Bengals and the New York Giants. Bengals win 17-7 in a gritty close game. Joe Burrow, he had a good game. 19 for 28 for completion, 208 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. But Joe Burrow had a rushing touchdown. It was like 3rd and 18, and this dude ran for like 47 yards for the touchdown. I said, okay, Burrow, I see you. So I didn't even know Joe Burrow can do that. For rushing, he had 4 attempts for 55 yards. Let's look at the receiving stats. T. Higgins, 7 targets, 7 receptions for 77 yards. Jamar Chase, 6 targets, 5 receptions for 72 yards. And their receivers played a great game as well, too. And their defense won the game for the Cincinnati Bengals, held in the New York Giants to 7 points. But I understand that the Bengals won against the Giants, but a win is a win for the Cincinnati Bengals. And if they win their next 3 games, they're back. Okay? I still believe that the Cincinnati Bengals are a playoff team, but now they got to fight for their season. Looking at the stats for the Giants, Daniel Jones, 22 for 41 for completion, threw for 205 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Daniel Jones, he did not have a good game. The touchdown the Giants scored was a running touchdown. That was it. Giants, when it was 10-7 and the Bengals fumbled the football, you had it right there. Y'all would have got the ball back with a chance to either tie or win it. First of all, y'all needed a touchdown because that kicker can't kick for nothing. Okay? So they needed a touchdown to win that game if they recover the fumble. And that's it. Shout out to the Bengals. They're now 2-4 the season. They beat the Giants 17-7. Last but not least, we go to the Monday night game. The Buffalo Bills defeated the New York Jets 23-20 in New York. Let's talk about it. Josh Allen, he had a good game. 19 for 25 for completion, threw for 215 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. For rushing, 9 attempts for 18 yards and 1 touchdown. Josh Allen, he had 3 touchdowns, and he is him right now. He is a top 3 quarterback in the AFC right now. Even though without his weapons, he's balling. I thought the Bills season, well, not the season, I thought the Bills won't make the playoffs this year, but they will. And they will win the division. But what I thought was, first of all, I had the Bills winning 8 or 9 games, but these boys might win 13. Okay? That's how good the Buffalo Bills are. And the defense won them the game at the end. That interception that Aaron Rodgers threw sealed the deal for the Buffalo Bills. They are now 4-2 of the season and still in first place in the AFC East. Now let's talk about the stats for Aaron Rodgers. 23 for 35 for completion, threw for 294 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Aaron Rodgers, you had a good game, but at the end, you have to take this team down the field and win the game. And that's been your problem for this season. Every time y'all have a chance to win the game, you just don't get the job done. You throw an interception. But now Aaron Rodgers has Davante Adams. They about to go crazy. Watch out for those two. And then the Jets defense did their thing as well too. This was a good game overall by both teams. Offense and defense. But I feel like the Jets should have won this game. If the Jets would have won this game, they will be 3-3 in first place in the AFC East. And that's it. Bills win 23-20 and put to 4-2 of the season. Now moving on to my week 7 picks. Man, we already on week 7? Let me ask y'all this. What's just week 1 last week? Because, man, but not even that. I could have sworn I just went to the Falcons and Saints game. But, man, time flies. Let's get into my week 7 NFL predictions. Starting off with Thursday night, we got the Denver Broncos and the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans. Sean Payton going up against his former team. This will be a very good game. I got the Denver Broncos winning this game, and they will bounce back from that loss against the Los Angeles Chargers at home. And I'm picking the Broncos because the Saints are dealing with a lot of injuries, and I don't trust them right now, okay? The Saints season is over, all right? Good luck getting a good draft pick this year. And the Denver Broncos defense will do their thing, okay? They'll put up big numbers. The offense will do their thing as well, too. Bowden, I feel like he'll have a good game. Patrick Surtain, I feel like he'll have a pick 6 this game. So give me the Broncos over the Saints in Thursday Night Football. And then we have another London game between the New England Patriots and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Both teams are 1-5, but I want to ask this question real quick. Who's going to watch this game, okay? Is anybody going to be watching the New England Patriots and the Jacksonville Jaguars? Because who's waking up at 9 in the morning to watch this game? But I know some people that might watch this game, Patriots and Jaguars fans. Those are the only 2 people that are watching it. But anyways, give me the Jaguars over the Patriots in London. Then we go to the 1 o'clock games. We got the Seattle Seahawks and the Atlanta Falcons. I will be at Mercedes-Benz Stadium again for this matchup. Seattle is 3-3. Atlanta is 4-2. This is going to be a very good game. But I'm taking the Atlanta Falcons, of course, because that's my team. I don't never pick against my team. Give me the Falcons over the Seahawks. Next up, we got the Tennessee Titans and the Buffalo Bills. Give me the Buffalo Bills, and that's not even a question. We got the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns. The Bengals will win. I feel like the Cincinnati Bengals will blow the Cleveland Browns out of the stadium. Because, man, the Cleveland Browns suck. If Deshaun Watson is not benched, if they lose this game, fire the coach. Okay, fire the coach. Get rid of Deshaun Watson and start over. And the Browns are back to you being their normal selves, being a sorry team. But anyways, I got the Bengals beating the Browns. We have a good one. The Houston Texans and the Green Bay Packers. CJ Stroud versus Jordan Love. Both teams have a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Both teams got a good defense. This is in Green Bay. I am rolling with the Green Bay Packers. And the Texans could win this game too. And this game can go either way. A lot of these Week 7 games can go either way. So I won't be surprised if the other team wins. But I got the Packers beating the Texans. We got the Miami Dolphins and the Indianapolis Colts. Giving the Colts over the Dolphins. And the Dolphins are coming off a bye week. But Joe Flacco is balling right now. I forgot this dude still played football. Man, he might get another ring before he retires. But I got the Colts beating the Dolphins, and I feel like it will be a gritty, close game as well. So I got the Colts beating the Dolphins, and we got an NFC North showdown. Man, this is a good one. We got the Detroit Lions versus the Minnesota Vikings. Give me the Lions over the Minnesota Vikings to hand the Vikings their first loss of the season. I feel like Jared Goff will outplay Sam Darnold, and the defense will do well. Next up, we got the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Giants. Saquon Barkley returns to New York to face against his former team. And I'm going to tell you right now, he is going to go off. All right, he is going to have a monster game. The Eagles will blow out the Giants. We got the Las Vegas Raiders and the Los Angeles Rams. Now, I'm pretty not going to be watching this game like that, but give me the Rams over the Raiders. We got the Carolina Panthers and the Washington Commanders. The Commanders will beat the Panthers. And then, woohoo! Here we go. Game of the week. We have a Super Bowl rematch between the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. And guess what I'm rolling with? I am rolling with the San Francisco 49ers to beat the Kansas City Chiefs to handle their first L of the season. Then we go to Sunday night. We got the New York Jets and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Davante Adams is expecting to make his New York Jets debut. Give me the Steelers in a close one at home against the Jets. But here's the thing. I want the Jets to win, but I'm rolling with the Steelers. And then Monday night, we have a doubleheader. We got the Baltimore Ravens and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Ravens are the best team in the AFC. King Henry is unstoppable. Give me the Ravens to steamroll the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa. And then last but not least, we got the Arizona Cardinals take on the Los Angeles Chargers. Give me the Cardinals over the Chargers. And those are my Week 7 NFL predictions. And that concludes today's episode. Thank you for everybody that joined. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the love and support that I'm getting. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube channel if you like sports content and more. And don't forget to follow me on all of my social media platforms on Instagram and TikTok at D_NAR_report. And that concludes today's episode. Have a good rest of your day. We'll see you next Tuesday.